You're listening to Walsh Weekly on Radioland 97.1 FM. Be upstanding. Adam Bacchetti is here! Oh, you
Hi.
are
How
a
you doing?
god to me. I can't believe I've got the Adam Bacchetti. I mean, damn.
That was a lot louder than I was expecting.
Well, it's to be fair. Where no introduction necessary for you. I mean, how's the bald head? I suppose.
Uh, what do you say? How's the bald head?
Yeah.
It's cold.
Yeah.
It's not very nice. Somebody stopped me on the way to work this morning and said, "Oh, is that you?" I was like, "Yeah, what do you mean?" It's like, I'm still trying to disguise myself at the moment. I've borrowed a makeup pencil for my eyebrows. And I'm wearing one of Jack's woolly hats
Yeah.
and just looking distinctively creepy, I would say.
But again, no matter what guise you take, you are. I mean, where do I begin? Documentary maker, public stuntman, what culture,
Stuntman
cultaholic.
makes it sound like I'm like balancing cars on my head and walking tightropes and stuff.
Well,
I don't.
I suppose in some cases you were. I mean, with the girl of your dreams and employ Adam Pacitti and everything else, you were walking on a tightrope most of the time.
Yeah, I guess so. Not in a literal way. It wasn't quite that dangerous. More just silly, I guess. But yeah, I guess. Yeah, there you go. I'm a stuntman.
So where did it all begin for you then? What decided you to think, you know what, I want to become a YouTuber and I want to get out there?
I didn't want to. I never wanted to become a YouTuber. I still don't really want to be a YouTuber now. I've just sort of fallen into it. I still don't know what I want to do. When people ask me like what I want to do in life, it's like I've got a different answer every time. There are lots of things that I still want to achieve. But yeah, I know I took the job with What Culture as an editing job. I was just going to come in and edit list videos all day, every day. And then Adam Blompier was in the office and we did some stuff on camera together and people quite liked it. And it just sort of like happened. I don't really know how to explain it.
Well, you could explain it from the fact you have a media production degree from the University of Winchester and you did hospital radio. Let's take it back, shall we? And look at the
done your
roots.
research.
Of
Yeah,
course, I've
yeah.
done my research.
Yeah, I went to Winchester, but that's like that's producing stuff. That's not being in stuff. I'm not good at being in stuff at all. I don't know how I've got away with it for 2 years now. It's not really my forte. I just sort of make cheap gags and laugh a lot when I'm on camera. You've got proper presenters who work on the channel, like Simon Miller, like Adam Blompier, who used to work with us, who trained to do it for years and years, and they're really good. So I'm just sort of I'm getting by on my luck, I guess.
But it's more than that. It's beyond that because again, I was watching your documentaries last night. Pinfall, the one in Texas, and I've forgotten the other one, but about the riot, I think it was.
Yes.
They were sublime. Simply.
That's really kind. Those are just university projects. Like, I tried to present them as professionally as I could, and I put them online for everybody to see. But yeah, the Pinfall, the professional wrestling documentary, was a second-year university piece. The Texas one, Everything's Bigger, was a third year. That was my final year project, and then I just made the short Millions Mask March thing for fun. Yeah, no, I always wanted to be a documentary filmmaker, but it's just an incredibly hard thing to do. YouTube is a bit easy. You can just pick up a camera and sort of do it.
Well, we'll come back to that in a sec. I mean, what sort of influence did you have in becoming a documentary maker? Did you see yourself as a Louis Theroux kind of guy, or was it a more a style genre were you looking to go into?
Not at all. When I went into the professional wrestling thing, it was a genuine thing that I just wanted to be a professional wrestler, and I wasn't hosting that in any way. I was just sort of there was a camera that was following me and doing it. The documentary filmmakers that I like, Werner Herzog and Nick Broomfield, who do play like an integral part in the documentary from an on-screen perspective. But no, I didn't ever want to be a Louis Theroux. I'm not good enough. I don't know enough about anything to do that. I just sort of barely got away with it because of the wrestling thing, and I know a fair bit about wrestling. But if you tried to get me to make a documentary about Nazis in America or children with autism, as Louis Theroux has done, I would be completely lost. I don't know anything about anything.
But then, it's phenomenal to hear that. And then, of course, What Culture came around. I mean, I mean, I've spoken to many YouTubers before, and you look at the likes of Bieber, and you look at Zoella, and we can mock Jack Maynard for all we like about not being famous enough for I'm a Celebrity and to go into a jungle. Did you ever think, like, as a YouTuber myself, I just put random stuff up there. Do you ever think, who's going to watch this? Who's actually going to pay attention? Because as much as you can scream and shout all you like, do you think who's actually going to watch it?
Yeah, it's really hard, I was fortunate to come on board with What Culture at a point where there were like 50,000 or so subscribers already, and the people who had done the work on that were Adam Blompier and Sam Driver. They had like designed this style, and they were creating content that people really, really wanted to watch. So I had like, I came in and I was really lucky there. But it's really difficult for people who are starting out on YouTube because, I don't want to say everything's been done, but pretty much everything's been done, and it's an unbelievably oversaturated marketplace. How do you grab people's attention? It's very, very difficult.
And again, we'll come on to your difficulties with YouTube a little bit later. Now, professional wrestling, our shared love. Again, my desire. Wrestling is life. Full stop. I already know what your favorite wrestler and favorite matches are. It's Bret Hart and Bret against Bulldog in SummerSlam '92.
You're wrong. You're wrong.
You put it in the list.
No. My favorite wrestler isn't Bret Hart. My favorite wrestler. I think I said he was the greatest wrestler of all time.
Is that not the same thing?
No, it's not. Because I put who did I put in there? There was Buddy Rogers or something. I wouldn't say he's one of my favorite wrestlers. My favorite wrestler ever is Mick Foley. Just because he's the best underdog ever, and he embodies what I think professional wrestling is, and that's entertainment and commitment to entertaining fans. But yeah, you're totally right on my favourite match ever. Bret Bulldog is an absolute classic.
Well, at least I wasn't owned by that. Here's a curveball on that. I've been a wrestling fan for years. But actually watching it live and staying up and watching it through without conking out, how do you manage that?
I'm still tremendously excited by wrestling, I guess. This is the easiest job in the world in most ways because people pay me. Well, they don't pay me anymore. I have to pay myself now. But I've been paid to watch wrestling, and I'm still just so passionate about wrestling that although sometimes when you're watching a 3-hour episode of Raw, it's tedious, you kind of just got to think, wait a second, like I'm literally watching wrestling and drinking beer, and somebody's paying me to do so. Something's wrong in the world when that's allowed to happen. But no, I still get really, really excited by wrestling, as you may see on the reactions videos that we do.
But in terms of staying awake and not almost allowing your brain to program yourself to fall asleep, how do you? It's a specific art, I suppose.
No, that's all Class A drugs. I'm kidding. I just get really excited by it. I'm working on a very weird sort of sleep schedule at the moment. I've been awake now for about 25, 26 hours, just trying to write scripts and stuff all night. And I was watching some wrestling last night. And I just like you sort of, because most wrestling happens in America, you've kind of got to get on board with that sort of staying up late and getting up a little bit later than you maybe should, sort of thing.
See, I'm just a wimp. I remember watching Great Balls of Fire, and I watched I think it was Bray Wyatt against Seth Rollins, and I fell asleep afterwards. I was like, I'm just pathetic.
I used to do that every week. My dad and I, we used to watch WCW Monday Night Show together, and I thought, hey, I'm going to stay up. I'm going to watch this with my dad. It was a great bonding experience. And then just before it went to air, every time, I think it started at midnight, I would just conk out, and my dad would carry me up the stairs before it even started and put me to bed. But no, I can just about manage it now. I'm good at dealing on no sleep.
I was going to say, can I insert a joke about how much you weren't missing out on WCW past 98?
No, come on. early years, not too bad. Yeah, I stopped watching in the later years. I sort of fell out of love with wrestling for about 3 years. I wanted to be cool, so I stopped watching wrestling. And then I realised you shouldn't try and be cool. You should just do what you like.
Exactly. Just embrace almost embrace the hate.
Yeah.
To quote Mr. Cena. Survivor Series just happened. Again, with Cultaholic, we'll comment on it in just a sec. Your thoughts on the card? I mean, Triple H. Why is it always Triple H all the blooming time?
Yeah, it
annoying.
was frustrating. It was especially frustrating for me because that was the moment I realised that I would be being shaved bald, thanks to Mr. H's actions. No, I think it was the best Survivor Series in maybe 10 years. I think it was absolutely fantastic. It was a bit of a shame at the end, but at the same time, it was unpredictable, and I'm really glad that we're probably going to get Triple H versus Angle at Royal Rumble. I think that's a good thing because then I think we can see Angle do something a little bit bigger at WrestleMania, perhaps John Cena.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's the same thing. Like I suppose for my personal opinion, I want to see Nakamura. I want to see AJ Styles. Like, I want to see. Do you not feel the same? That it's always the
No,
same.
I do, but that can still happen at WrestleMania. I was disappointed that the people who weren't left last in the ring were, it should have been Nakamura, it should have been Rude, but it was a good card. It was the card was great top to tail, and overall it was a really, really fun event. I think there was a lot of fun moments in the show.
Another curveball. What would you say has been the worst pay-per-view or worst show you've ever watched?
Worst show I've ever watched. Heroes of Wrestling was really, really bad. That's like an independent thing that was put on, and there was some you can describe some of them as legends, I guess. Yokozuna was on the card. The Bushwhackers were on the card. It's the one where infamously Jake the Snake held his literal python between his legs, like a figurative, and waved it at fans. That was, I think, the most depressing moment in my history of watching wrestling. There have been some terrible shows. The ECW pay-per-view. Yeah, I know. I'm going to go with Heroes of Wrestling.
Right, from America. Look, from wrestling in the stateside to over here in the UK, WCPW. I mean, what a huge success that was for you guys in Gateshead. I mean, what was it like to actually start up and think we're a professional wrestling company now? People are coming to watch us, and we have some top class people coming to wrestle for us.
Bizarre, yeah. It just sort of all snowballed very quickly. WCPW, I should sort of make clear, wasn't ever our decision. Our bosses came up with the idea, and we were given the task of presenting that. And I think we did some really good work on there, and I think we made a lot of mistakes on there. It was weird because we started in that horrible little warehouse with 200 people, a leaky ceiling, with people, a lot of wrestlers who most people were unfamiliar with. We didn't have the sort of staples of the British scene at that time. We didn't have the Ospreys, we didn't have the Skrulls, we didn't have Jimmy Havoc. We had a lot of guys that, people were unfamiliar with. And then we had Jay Lethal as well. Jay Lethal was huge. We were never going to have any imports, but we decided to get him, and that was great. And, the next thing, 3 months down the line, we're announcing that Kurt Angle is coming to wrestle for us. Just that there was no bigger name at the time on the independent scene. So it was huge, and I think we did some really fun stuff. And when it was at its peak, I think a lot of people were talking about it, and I wish What Culture every success with Defiant Wrestling.
And of course, how many people can say on this earth you got put through a table by Bully Ray Dudley? That's just
a total bucket list moment. I'm very, very lucky. I'm very fortunate. Everything that happened at What Culture, I was always treated incredibly well. They were always very nice to me, and I got to do some things that were just, the complete dream come true scenarios.
And of course now Cultaholic. I mean, the way you guys systematically brought it about with the join us and the symbols, and it I think it was the best promotion I've ever seen in a long time. Because with WWE, it was very predictable. It was it's someone, whether it's Emma or Emmalina or whatever, and you could see the lines in the sand. But with it it bamboozled me for weeks on end, and then to see you come out and that was a moment, I swear.
Yeah, it was great. You know, it's a shame that it didn't sort of work out as it was meant to do. Obviously, with Adam Blompier leaving, but yeah, no, it was really fun. I think it was really unexpected for us to be leaving What Culture and just trying to do our own thing, and it's been a lot more difficult than we thought. Like I'm sat in the studio now that we're renting. We have a very poorly painted green screen. We don't have any real soundproofing at the moment. We're a long, long way away from being at the sort of level that we want to be at production-wise. And with just 4 of us working on it now, the amount of content that we're able to actually produce it's very difficult to produce the amount that we'd like to anyway. But yeah, we're getting there.
And again, it's all publicly funded, and the way that the fans have come together, I think, is a brilliant concept. And
we're so lucky that people are willing to pledge their money and say that they want to support us and see us grow and make new things and be excited about wrestling. Because I think a lot of us, by the end of What Culture, we weren't so excited anymore. It had become a little bit mundane, and like we're finally really feeling excited about wrestling and producing content again.
Going back to even the production processes, what was an average day like? You know, producing going from the minute you walked into the What Culture offices to when you left home. What was an average day like?
Every day for me, especially, was really different because I was doing very different things. Some days I would be editing, some days I'd be presenting all day, some days I'd be writing, some days I'd be working on their website or their shop or their social media. I was doing loads and loads of different things. My days are a bit more structured now, actually. Like I'm overseeing pretty much everything with Cultaholic, but I'm still editing videos. So I edit a list video a week and doing a few news bits. I'm probably going to step back from the editing just to sort of oversee business development on the new thing. But yeah, no, every day it's really difficult to answer that. Like most of the guys, you would get a straightforward answer, because if you're an editor, you would edit WTF on a Tuesday and a Wednesday, and then you would do this series on a Thursday, this series on a Friday, and then maybe some WCW stuff or whatever. But no, I had a really, really varied work schedule.
Because again, I can totally preach with you with working with the software and working, like even us as broadcast journalists, we're producing our own packages, we're producing our own sequences, and you see you see the work of Sam Driver, and you sit back and you think, yeah, he's better than us. Like
he's a terrific talent. Yeah, but you'll totally get there. And don't get me wrong, I haven't heard your stuff or anything, but like he's been doing it now for 7 or 8 years, and at least 4 on a professional level. So yeah, he's really, really good, and just a great creative mind and a great mind for editing in general. He just knows the best way to present something or the best way to cut something. He's great. He's a great guy.
Right, enough talking. Let's. I've proposed that we do a quiz.
Yes.
Because I'm going to be smart here.
Okay.
Let's forget Adam versus Adam. Let's call it Pacitti versus Walshmeister right here.
I'm down for that.
For the future. So, are you ready, Mr. Pacitti? I
Let's
have
do it.
5 themes. You have to tell me who they belong to. Here's the first.
Sure.
Any ideas?
That was, you know what? I was expecting like Sexy Boy or like Stone Cold Steve Austin or something. That was really hard. Okay, I'm going to go, because I really, really don't know. It sounds Attitude Era-y, so maybe a bit later. Shawn Stasiak?
Nope. Correct answer was Paul London. I used to love this theme.
God. Yeah, no, yeah.
Well,
is that the same theme that they had when he was tagging with Kendrick?
I think so, but he was one of, again, growing up during the noughties, just seeing the guy sprinting down to the ring it made a difference.
Amazing, that slide across the ring and everything.
Yeah.
The man who got fired for smiling. Very sad state.
Here's the next one. Can you remember him?
This is hard. You know what? I've got a feeling this is from a really sort of my sort of black period of wrestling where I just wasn't watching it so much. So like that was 2005, 2006ish with London, right? And I think this is the same sort of era, but maybe I'm wrong. I honestly have no idea on that, so I'm going to go with Droz.
Chuck Palumbo. Again, another...
Jesus. Before the biker gimmick?
Yeah.
Or was that the biker gimmick?
I think
one?
it was the biker gimmick.
That's 2006 again, isn't it?
Yeah.
Go on, next.
Not doing very well for for someone of a wrestling guy. Yeah,
No, I know.
I'm not that guy. Here's the next one.
Oh, this is going to do my head in. It's way earlier. It's like... It's 92 or 93. I've got a feeling... I remember this from the Super Nintendo video game. I think it was on the Royal Rumble. Is it Bruce's Beefcake?
No, it's not. It's Virgin.
Am I close? It's Virgin. Oh! Okay. Oh, this is embarrassing. I'm 0 for 3 here. Go on.
This one's a bit more obvious.
It's the Mean Street Posse.
It is the Mean Street Posse. I'm glad.
Thank the Lord.
And here's the final one. Again, you should be able to get this one.
Is that Bad Street USA?
It is Bad Street USA of the Fabulous
Beautiful.
Freebirds. What a tune.
Fantastic.
Oh,
It is a tune.
they don't make them like that anymore. You can definitely say that for
Certainly
sure.
don't.
I mean, I don't know what else to say to you. You are an absolute... I mean, I've got to put this out there as a final question. Is there a chance for an internship, for me to come up and work with you guys? Because that would be literally a dream come true.
Yeah, totally. Like we're not in any position to open the doors yet, but fingers crossed next year we're going to start looking at getting on new writers, new editors, and certainly some interns as well. So yeah, totally keep in contact.
Oh, absolutely. Adam Pacitti, you are my hero, my inspiration, my everything to do with wrestling. Thank you very much
indeed. You need to find
indeed.
better heroes, I promise you.
Trust me,
Thank you.
I live in my bedroom. Thank you very much indeed.
Take care, my friend. Bye.